This is the Millennials Podcast.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
I don't ever want you associating with little girls.
Why not, Mama?
Because little girls are the devil.
Hey, welcome to the Millennials Podcast. I'm Ralph, and this episode is all about mothers. And I'm just going to start off by saying I love my mom more than all these people love their mom. I'm here with Joey.
I love my mom.
Okay, cool. Kyle.
That's me.
Ashley.
I love how Kyle didn't mention anything about his mother. I love my mom.
Jason.
I love you, Mom.
And we have a special guest, a expert, per se, in motherhood, Rose.
Rose.
And I love myself because I am a mom.
Dang. Can you introduce yourself, what it is you do? You're not just a mom, you know.
Yeah, let's kick this mother off with a
Wait.
Okay.
Don't we need to explain our scenario right now before we jump into it?
Sure, she was supposed to come here. Rose was supposed to be here live on a high quality microphone. And something happened to her car, and so we're basically FaceTiming. And
Yes.
so that's why she sounds like that.
Yes.
Alrighty.
She's not a cyborg.
Let's do this.
I am a mom of 3 little ones. I have a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn who's 2 months old. And then I also am considered a parenting expert. So for the last almost a decade now, I've taught various parenting groups and in the community. I've done workshops, and then I also work one-on-one. So for many years, I gave parenting advice without even actually being a parent. And yeah, so that's where, and right now I'm graduating in December as a community psychologist. And I've actually been taught to shy away from the word expert. We don't like that term in the field of psychology.
Why not?
Even though I just used it. It's this idea that by calling myself an expert, I am putting myself in a position of power as if I know something more than you know. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I can be an expert in my field, but I'm not the expert of your family. You are the expert of your family, right? Like, you know, your children, your spouse, yourself, each other more than anybody else can. So by entering a home and considering myself an expert, I'm already placing myself in a position of power. And that's not good. You don't want that.
Very interesting.
Very.
So you're married,
Yes.
and how many kids do you have?
3.
And do you love them all equally? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes. Yes.
And one's a
Yes.
newborn, right?
Yes.
Dang,
2 months old.
You mean
she's new to planet Earth.
So she just got there and you already love her the same as the other ones?
Yeah. It's
Before
not
she
fair,
was
right?
That's
even
pretty
made,
impressive.
she knew.
I feel like you develop like a new heart for each of your children. Because I used to, when I had my first, I would think there's no way I could love anybody as much as I love my first. Like, I just thought it would be impossible to love another child. And my mom told me, like, you'll develop a heart for each child. And so now I feel like I have 3 hearts inside of my body, and one is devoted fully to each one.
Oh.
It's so cute.
That is
Right?
so cute.
I feel like putting that on a card or something. I'm gonna take that for
Please
Mother's
do
Day.
and give me credit. Actually, TM, that's trademarked right now. I just trademarked.
So it's less of just straight out equal and more of a unique love for each of them.
It is, because they're different, like, totally, you know? Like, I can't even compare any of them. And my relationship to each of them is different.
We didn't go into how old you are. How old are you?
32,
And what year were you born?
1983.
Woo, because you're a millennial.
So you're a
millennial.
You're technically a millennial mom, yeah.
Woohoo.
I am.
You made the cut.
I did make the cut.
You made the
And
cut.
I want to say it was October of 83. So in 2 months, I was an 84 baby. I just want to say that.
What?
Gotcha.
There we go.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Before we get into the nitty gritty stuff, one of our followers, which we have followers now, guys.
Yeah.
It's weird. They're talking to
Wait,
us.
What up?
people are hearing this?
Yes, people are hearing us. It's weird. Actually, let's give some
Rangers.
shout outs. I can't find her name on Instagram, but my nails are wet. What's up?
Oh my god!
Trying to hit up Kaio.
You just threw her under a bus.
Thanks for all the likes.
Hey, she's
and
awesome. She's
and
real-
Ariel and Alex
Yeah.
gave us some questions they'd like asked on here. But before I get to that, one of them wanted to know what we think about like. Now I've only seen this one time. I'm not familiar with this, but she said where she's at, I believe is in Portland or somewhere in Oregon. A thing that a lot of people do is buy baby clothes, and they dress their kid up all cute, and then tag the company. And sometimes the company will repost that thing. And she said she thinks
Like
that's
for advertisement?
weird. Like, what do we think about that? People using their babies to like kind of, I don't know, push themselves out there or something.
some
Get
likes.
followers. I don't know what they're trying to do. What do you think about
I don't
that?
see the problem.
I don't see a
personally.
problem with it, but it's just
It
isn't
could
that
be
kind of
awkward.
weird?
Yeah, I could.
Well, when I was a child, my mom obviously
She posted you.
tried to put me in child like modeling for Oshkosh
Obviously.
Bagosh. And
He's a
and I
sexy
actually
child.
won like for
Oh shoot!
whatever state thing we were doing
Wow.
like down here, and
What?
the next step was to go to nationals in
Sitting
New York
next to a
City.
baby model.
But my mom couldn't afford it to fly a ticket for me to go. So had I gone to New York, I probably would not have been here right now.
Oh.
Because I would have been, rich and famous.
Oh wow.
And on drugs because you were a baby model.
Yeah, what's the difference between that and like traditional modeling? What would be like the opposition to that?
That's
right?
kind
Like,
of
it's
the way that
same
I
thing.
think about it. Like, I just think it's a faster route to take it. There have always been parents that want to, like,
Exploit. No, I'm just kidding.
some people see it as exploitation. Some
Well-
people just see it as trying to find a
I think
way
there's different degrees because
Of course.
to earn a future for their child.
Be obsessed with trying to get your kid famous. Like, I just need to get
Exactly.
This.
Yeah, but now
The
with
intent.
technology, it's so convenient to just do something like that and you get a response.
And it's
I
easier
mean,
to just find that.
I don't necessarily see anything bad with it, but I do think that people need to be aware of what's out there in the media and what's out there on the internet and just be very careful of
And just watch
posting
out,
like
yeah,
a
'cause
million
There's
photos
a lot
of
of people. Sick
your
people.
child. Yeah, I don't know. I would be weary of that, just having like a million photos of my child on the internet and you never know who's looking at it and what they're doing or anything
mean,
of the sort. But
I think your intentions are everything. If this is just something that you're pursuing and you think that your child will be successful at it and you're not exploiting or forcing your child to do this,
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with it. Like that's nothing compared to like pageant moms and that
Oh gosh!
all those. I don't think
it's too far from it.
No. Well, like
Well,
I
it
said,
depends on the person.
like Joey was saying, there's degrees to it, and I just think the pageant level is
Is the peak.
yeah, that's like the top. That's like pretty bad.
You want to make
to
sure
me.
you're exploiting your kid.
Pageants. Let's put fake teeth on them and spray them
Oh
up
my gosh.
and make them like.
No
Do
offense to
craziness.
pageant people who listen.
Oh, sorry. Hey, just kidding.
Full offense to pageant people.
Okay, yeah, you know what? Full offense to them.
And granted, I don't know anything about the pageant world
Full
other than those reality shows where they have to be crazy.
Yeah.
But
Rose, how do you see this?
Yeah, the only thing I'm thinking about. So I kind of have two opinions on it. One is I think from a psychological perspective, because I had a client that kind of had her daughter was basically born with her organs outside of her body, and so she wanted to kind of encourage like a body positive message to her daughter, a body positive image. And so what she did was have her daughter start to model. My only concern was you are setting your child up for an industry where they will be judged by their looks.
Yeah.
So in many ways, like that's the only qualm I have about it. It's the almost like the vanity of it. Like if you want your daughter to accept and love her body, have her do that with her own self-acceptance, but then putting her in the spotlight in front of people
Yeah,
who will
exactly.
now kind of attribute some type of worth to her looks.
yes.
I don't know. It's kind of like
because then if they fail in that, then they feel like a failure in everything.
Right,
almost.
right.
Like,
So
oh,
I
can't-
don't know.
I can't make my mom happy. I can't.
Right. Or like I look in the mirror and I consider myself beautiful versus, well, I'm in an industry where I'm allowing people to tell me whether I'm beautiful or not. And, I don't know. So I think, but I mean, to each their own, I guess. Like, I think my kids are really beautiful, and
They are.
I would love to like get clothing and stuff like that for them.
And money.
And money, that would be really nice.
But that's
And
true. You
for
get that
them,
money,
yeah.
you save it, you put it away for
Yeah.
them, or use
College.
it towards your family.
Right,
I see nothing
right. So
wrong with
there's
that.
pros and cons.
Exactly.
I think you just have to weigh it out for your family.
But this is just like Instagram and stuff getting like reposted.
That's
and
where it
likes.
starts. Yeah, that's where they're
Not-
starting.
I mean, if you're already putting the photo out there and tagging the place, they don't really need to. They can just use the photo.
Oh yeah, you don't get
because-
paid, right?
It's for like,
No, but you'll get exposure, I guess, and maybe they'll send you free things for your child to wear, and then continue
Like
to
sponsored.
yeah.
that's their
Exactly.
intent. Yeah, that's what they're trying
Yeah,
to do.
my nephews actually my nephews do that, but they're both teenagers. But they take they live in Hawaii, and they take these really cool photography photos. And they have like these skateboarding companies sponsor them
That's so
and send them
awesome.
swag. Yeah.
Send them swag. My coworkers' kids actually model for Ralph Lauren, and we go to the mall, and I've seen like this huge poster of him before. She posts pictures all the time of her standing next to a big picture of her kid.
Wow.
In the
That's
mall.
pretty
Grow
cool.
up so fast.
And yeah, and her kids, like, she takes them to
Why don't you go for your shot now then?
it's too late. I'm
You're
fat
still
and old now. But she'll take them to like I don't know what it's called, a casting, I guess. And
Casting call?
And they're pretty blunt. They'll say like, "Oh, we're looking for more like of an ethnic looking kid. Your kid looks too like European or
Yeah.
Right.
And it's kind of like
Yeah.
your kids have to deal with that. Like,
It's called
that's the tough
ethnically
part.
ambiguous. I love it. Ethnically ambiguous. And there's a big market for it, and my kids fit into it perfectly.
What?
Why is that?
What are they? Do you have to fit in the category of what are they?
Yeah, they
Can't
are
pin you down.
they are biracial, human first of all, because there's only one species and race. But yeah, they are black and white, I guess.
No, I just meant like
He was making a joke.
yeah, like the people
Oh,
who
just
are
kidding,
who are
haha.
judging like the kind of people I want are people that I can't tell the race. That's what I want.
Got it. Yes.
Well,
yeah, because that's what you want.
I wrote down a few things that I wanted to grasp tonight on the podcast, and there was one question I wanted to throw at you, Rose. In your lifestyle and in your profession, what are some trends that you see? Like, I wrote down land of mothers, and it sounds so funny to even say, but what are some trends in the lands of mothers that you see surfacing, and what do you think about them? For instance, now they're quote unquote hipster moms.
Yes.
You know, and
Yeah.
then there are, of course, the stay-at-home moms, and then the career moms, and then unfortunately there are, lower-class moms that there are a certain amount of them, not all of them, not at all, but there is a percentage in the world of mothers that are having children just to benefit from it and aren't really doing their duty in the household. What do you see in the profession and what you do in that area? Like, what do you see surfacing?
So you're talking about you mean current trends in motherhood? Is that what you mean?
Positive and negative, yes.
Well, in many ways, I feel like being a mother, and I've had a lot of conversations about this with tons of people, probably hundreds. I feel like we're in a place now where because of this whole push to breastfeed and non-GMO and organic foods and attachment parenting, there's all these really new trends where mothers now kind of almost have this they have this pressure to really perform and provide, do the best for your child. Like our parents, for instance, it was my kids have to be clean and well fed and go to school and behave. And that was kind of as long as you did that, your kids were good.
That sounds about
Where
right.
now as a parent, it's no, well, your child has to be fed only organic food. They have to be breastfed. They have to
Exercise.
right. There's all of these things now,
quote
and
unquote
where-
requirements.
Exactly, and it used
my
to
kid
just be
is vegan and gluten-free and
Right.
like no
Right.
casein and all that.
right. And how many sports is your child in, and how many activities are they exposed to, and how many instruments are they playing, and
Are they alkaline?
Yeah, no, it's really like crazy stuff. And, are they, do they know how to use technology yet at the age of 5? And there's just
Has he
all
made
this
any
pressure.
apps?
Do you feel like
Or
there's
she?
like a sense of competition sometimes between other moms with their kids? Like, well, Johnny just started the tuba
Of course
and
there
the
are,
violin.
and there always
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
been.
there always has
I'm
been with
sure
that.
there are, but that's not new. That's human
That's always
nature, and
been
I'm
there,
sure
yeah.
that's been our parents experienced that. It's just like now the stakes are higher, and now parents feel this pressure to like overperform in all these areas where my mom doesn't, like, my mom tells me she doesn't remember anybody asking her whether she was breastfeeding or not. Like, and now all of a sudden it's not only that's important, but did you give birth naturally, like vaginally, or C-section? Did you use an epidural or not? Did you do a home birth or a water birth? Like, it's all of these
That ain't none of your
checklist.
business.
yeah,
Maybe it's
yeah.
'cause
But you feel the pressure of that.
The more we know now, the more paranoid we're getting. I guess.
Yeah, no, it's true. And millennial moms are like very educated. We have college degrees. The amount of women that obtaining bachelor's degrees is on the rise. And so our parents, and the generation before that, women weren't really educated like we are now.
I hadn't really.
So
even
it's
considered
different.
Yeah, that was actually one of the things I wanted to bring up was that, on paper, we've discussed this in a previous episode, but on paper, we're the most educated generation that's ever lived. Many, many, many people go to college.
Right.
And that was something I found when I was looking up things to talk about regarding moms, was that this is the most educated group of mothers that has ever existed. But it's still extremely difficult for them because they didn't just get to go to college and get a good education. And then kind of like what Rose was saying is that the stakes are higher. There's a lot more expected of women too. So they got their education and they have their job and they're still expected to do all these other things.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I don't know how fair that is, honestly. And not only that, especially bringing what Joey said into the equation, they're a single mom and it's still unfair pay wages. Women still get paid whatever it is, 3% less than men or something per hour in many places. So
Right. And the burden of responsibility in parenting falls heavily on the mother. It's funny
Of
because
course.
when a dad is just being a parent, they say like, oh, he's babysitting, like, oh,
Yeah.
dad's babysitting
Yeah, of
the
course.
kids tonight. No, it's called being a dad. Like, so even though like women are gaining more equal footing as far as like we're educated, just like men are, we're historically, traditionally, men had more of the degrees and we're working, dual income households, we're contributing more to the household. Still, the majority of the parenting responsibility and pressure is on the mother, and that unfortunately still hasn't changed.
So do you think these new expectations are to benefit or the detriment of mothers now?
I think education is knowledge, right? Knowledge is power, and I think it's good that we're learning more about how to rear children. Like, even there's a whole trend in like emotional intelligence and even how to discipline. And I mean, there's a lot of amazing things that are happening that I'm really passionate about, in particular when I teach, that are really beneficial. But I think as parents, we have to be kinder to each other. And we kind of have to mind our own business a little bit, and respect each other's parenting choices. So it's good that we're educated and doing better, but it's bad that moms feel that like we feel the need to kind of be overly involved in each other's lives.
It's because everyone is so easily accessible online. Like, if someone posts a photo of their kid eating cereal in the morning in front of the television, all of a sudden you're going to have 30 other mothers judging that
That
one
cereal has
person
gluten.
No, it's
based on
crazy.
that one photo, and that's not
Yeah.
even what the point of the photo may have been. You
Right.
know, it may have been, oh
God
my God, I love
forbid-
mornings with my son, and it's then all of these criticisms where in the past no one knew you were doing that. No one knew
Right.
what was happening inside of your home. No one knew you went to the park with your child unless you told them. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Absolutely. That's a really good point. It's true.
Really quick, just what you mentioned on the fathers, like the pressure not being that heavy, I guess, on fathers. I heard a comedian. She's actually a pregnant comedian. I forgot her name. But
Great
Asian?
job, Kyle. Just
pardon?
kidding.
Was she Asian?
Yes.
Was she on Netflix?
Yes.
I forgot her name too.
She is
Oh my
so
God.
good. She's so good. Anyway,
She's just perpetually pregnant. That's like her
It's
stick.
part of her,
No, but-
her
but-
act.
But what she was saying, she's like, oh man, my husband is just praised for like, oh, you go to the doctor's appointments with her, like that's so nice of you. She's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
She's like, you know who else has to go to those doctor's appointments? Me, but nobody's praising me for doing that. Like, and it just it kind of puts into perspective like how it's true. Like dads kind of get praised just for doing
For
just
being a
Well,
dad.
I
for
think
just doing
Yeah.
their job. Like that's what you do. Like you're a dad. Do that.
Right.
I think hopefully, well, I guess this is my hope, little by little in regards to millennial fathers and mothers, I'm seeing more involvement and tendencies leaning towards involvement from both the mother and the father, and I pray that just increases. But that is it is surprising for people to see and to comment on, even though it shouldn't be surprising. But my grandfather, for instance, or even my father, who wasn't even involved in my life, like that was not considered a norm, unfortunately. But it just wasn't. Like that wasn't the culture, you know. Like the husband paid the bills and did X, Y, and Z,
Usually
but the wife
emotionally
did all the quote unquote wifely duties and the motherly duties, and anything besides the father figure tendencies or duties did not. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm
Yeah.
explaining myself.
No, actually, I think you bring up a really good point. Actually, like statistically, men are more involved now, and it's like that's what the data is showing, that men.
Yeah.
This is the first generation. Like talk about millennial dads. This is the first generation that where men are almost as heavily involved. Society still places more of the expectation on women.
Yeah, and I
But
think
that's
they
just
always,
because of
yeah.
history.
Yeah.
But men statistically are more involved now.
Yeah, I wanted
which
to bring
think is
that
beautiful.
up in a more positive light. That another thing I read was that our generation is more equally balanced in the home when it comes to responsibilities around the house and specifically with kids and stuff.
But we're
Right.
talking about mamas. 'Cause
That's another podcast.
kidding.
Yeah, we're
For the
gonna do
dads.
dads next.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
I
Mammalias.
didn't say this. We're doing mothers because Mother's Day just passed, and then we're gonna do a father's episode for Father's Day.
Woo.
Pops.
Mom and
How
pop.
sweet.
For those corn pops out there.
Well, with that, I wanted to gear off towards a discussion on what powers do you feel that mothers have on society?
Oh my
Ooh.
God.
I thought you were gonna say
And
what powers you think moms have. Like,
That's such a
Powers.
Eyes
deep
behind their
that's
head.
such a deep question that you can just dive into and you could just talk about it for like the longest time. But for some reason I just get this like comical relief, and I just want to laugh every time I think about that question, only because I've been binging on Daredevil recently. And I just find
I feel
it
a
so
spoiler.
ironically funny how in a lot
His mom.
of stories in general, it doesn't even have to be television shows or films or anything like that, but in a lot of stories the antagonist usually always has mother issues.
True.
And that always makes me want to laugh, because in reality,
Oh, Martha.
mothers have such a strong hold on the outcome for our future.
family
Sopranos.
as a
You know,
whole, and the mothers are pretty
Because
much
they
the nucleus
usually
of the
they
family.
lead the household in
Well, it's-
gearing their
there's-
child towards certain behaviors and becoming an adult.
I think it's also the opposite too. The father's missing. Like I mean, who's
Yeah.
who's Andy's father
Of course,
Who's Andy again?
from Toy Story?
from Toy Story.
Oh yeah. Who is he?
But
he
what I
around?
mean to say is
Whoa.
Did he buy Buzz for him? I'm sorry.
No.
what I mean to say is, like, if you think about it, mothers dictate what your future is going to be, what the world's future is going to be.
Yeah.
whether they're present or whether they're absent, the way that they gear their children to grow up into adulthood will ultimately affect human civilization.
Like-
Does anyone agree with that?
Yeah, definitely, because I would have been a football player if it wasn't for my mom. She didn't let me try out for anything football because while she was nursing.
That's all hearsay, though.
She's a nurse, yeah. What's all hearsay?
Like, you can't just say definitively that you would become a
No,
football
I would have. I was really good, okay? I flipped 300 guys. I mean, 300 guys.
Whoa.
300-pound guys, and I was like 150. I flipped them over, okay? I was really good. They wanted me to play with them, but
Who's
I
they?
couldn't try out.
Why are you
football
flipping
team.
guys over? I don't think that's how you play football, dude.
Well, I flipped them over. They dropped the ball. I get it. I run the other way. So it's called a fumble. What was I getting at? Oh, yeah. So she was a nurse before she was a mom, and she had to take care of this guy who got really injured. It looked like paralyzed from football. So, and she was like, when I have a kid, my kid's never going to play football. So then when I was like, Mom, I want to try out, she's like, no, don't do it.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, why not? And then she told me the story. It broke my heart. And I was like, okay, Mom, I won't be a really cool football player.
I'll just be inside all day.
No, I still played football, but I wasn't going to pursue that professionally, I guess. So changed my life.
Okay. So does anyone want to expand on what Ashley said about mothers having like
my
so much power?
super cool statement
give
that
us-
I
Are
made.
You know what it
recording?
is?
Are you
You know what it is?
recording?
That question is so whoa that like I don't know if I can't think of a good answer for that. I agree with it.
What about your
But-
life?
Don't back away
how
from
did your
it.
mom
Pillow?
guide you to be the person you are now?
My mom is very loyal and very hardworking and sticks to what it is she's doing. So I get that. I got that from her for sure. But like, what Ashley's saying is true about so much. They really do have. I mean, every parent has so much power. But I mean, just the fact that the mother's the one that brings life into
Yeah.
the world, that's a
Like
huge amount
if
of
you're
power
lying
right
in
there.
bed and you want a cup of water, you don't ask for dad, you ask for mom.
Well,
Even when dad
you don't
comes.
know.
I just asked for whoever has water.
Mom.
That you don't know.
I want to add something again from like a psychological perspective. Our understanding is that the most important relationship in a child's life is that of the same sex parent. So like for instance, for a young man to have a detrimental relationship with his father tends to have a significantly greater impact emotionally than it would with his mother, and then with the young daughter having a unhealthy relationship with her mother tends to have more of a significant emotional impact. Of course, this is just like statistics, right? We know that like there's obviously
Case by case
variances
sentence.
right, but that's the reality of it. And I think it's funny because you know, like we always say, like in the Christian tradition, like, okay, I came from my husband's rib, right? But in reality, we all came from a vagina, right? So like, to be honest with
She said vagina.
I did.
Gotta be explicit episode now.
It's a powerful word, but we all
Powerful
came
everything.
yeah, exactly. So every human being on this planet came from a mother, right? Like we
Yes.
can't deny that fact.
What about
And
test tube babies?
but they came from a woman, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you have to. Like we're the
They were birthed.
Right. We're the vessel of birth. And so, I mean, honestly, like we've raised every human being on this planet is like responsible. We're like what parents do is they raise human beings. We instill in human beings every sense of value, purpose. We help them form identity. We teach them about life, boundaries, relationships.
yes.
We give them a blueprint. Well, whether it's good or bad,
Yeah,
regardless.
whether
there's
they're
still
intentionally doing it or
influence.
not, it happens.
Right.
Gotcha.
There's still influence. So absolutely I would say yes and yes to your original hypothesis, Ashley, about that.
That's crazy what you had said about like the same gender making the connections, because usually in pop culture you think of mama's boy and daddy's little princess,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
you think like, oh, you're a stripper, she must have daddy issues. You
Yeah.
know, it's like
Right. Yeah.
it's
Well,
like-
that's true though. And that's kind of like that's like a theory. Like that's a lot of Freud stuff when we talk about things like that. But and there is there is truth to that, because my first relationship with the opposite sex was the relationship that I had with my father. And so he provided for me a male template, right, of what a relationship looks like. And the same thing for you guys. You know, your first relationship with the opposite sex was your mother. So in many ways, she provided for you a female template and what that looks like. But on the other side of that, for a man where he gets his identity and, you know, right, exactly. That can influence a lot of different areas.
So what's to say from boys that were raised without any father figure? Like where do they you think they have to
Or without any mother figure.
Daughters without mothers, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing, because I've had a lot of single parents will ask me, like, what do I do? You know, like, I don't know how to raise a boy. I don't know what to do. You know, like, he needs a father figure. And in actuality, what your child needs is just a good male role model.
Parental figure.
So even if the absence of a father is not there, which I mean is crucial, like that does matter, obviously, no one can replace that. Your child will develop manly roles or manly identity or whatever his gender is based on relationships that he has with other people that just aren't his parents. Like, we can extend that role. You know what I mean? We can branch out of that.
Mom's friend.
Right. But we do see when, like, for instance, if it's a male who's raised with a lot of like sisters or women, you do see like there's a little bit more of like the female brain. Like, they might be more sensitive to things or might have, you know, greater awareness about stuff. So it does.
I just raised my hand.
Yeah, because it's nature and nurture, right? Like, it's how genetically how you interact with your environment and how you are nurtured that affects. It's a dance. It's a relationship. Nature and nurture work together to create the human being.
That would also explain why Kyle has a period every month.
What?
Guys, I have a period too.
What?
Nobody notices.
Can you imagine if physical things happened? Like she was saying.
Trying to be funny.
guys
Hold on.
actually
We're not
do
going to
have
just zip past that.
Yes.
Is that
It was an attempt at humor.
okay?
Yes.
Well, I just want to note that you're the only person that laughed.
That's
I
not
fake
true.
laugh.
You can
No,
proceed.
just laugh.
It was ironic. It was an ironic laugh.
He laughed at what I said. Yeah.
I laughed inside.
Aw, sympathy. She's such a good mother.
Can you imagine though if that stuff transferred over? Like she was saying,
Oh my gosh.
like
And you
physical
get in
things
sync with your
transferred over.
family.
Yeah.
Like, I have 5 girl cousins, 4 girl aunts, and
4 girl aunts?
yeah,
All of your aunts are girls?
oh my gosh, and like we're always around to each other, like for family events and stuff, and I grew up with them a lot, so I would hate to be in sync with them.
I think what
Somehow.
happens too sometimes with boys who are raised by single mothers and have a bunch of sisters, because my brother-in-law, he has like I forget, it's like 6 or 7 sisters, and they were all raised by his mother, single mother, and he's like the manliest guy I know, and I don't know about his situation, but I think other situations guys might try to overcompensate the fact that they
Go like completely direct.
yeah
like,
go
opposite.
polar opposite to
Their environment as a child.
yeah.
So become like super masculine,
to hide.
meathead, just to like.
Just like I don't want to be what everyone is expecting me to be, like, you know.
Right. And oftentimes what we don't experience as children, we seek out in adulthood too, you know?
Can you say that again?
Oftentimes what we don't experience as children, we seek out in adulthood.
Could you give
like
an
Michael
example?
Jackson?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Like me and Pokemon.
Excuse me.
What?
Like people, like for instance, people who maybe they had a childhood where they didn't have a lot of control. So they look for control as an adult, or the opposite is true as well.
Like, you can't wear that yellow shirt. No. And then when they are an adult, they buy all yellow shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like
Or
kids
they
that-
on a
choose to
micro
be
scale.
rebellious.
Yeah, kids that were way too sheltered and just hidden from the reality of the world, and then as soon as they go off to college, they just lose it. Yeah, they
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
go
That was an
crazy.
explosion, not a mouth fart.
It was a pretty good explosion.
Thank you.
It's good.
So let's transition to what you think, Rose, about technology and children, as specifically how a lot of people will use technology to babysit their kids
To
for them.
substitute
Netflix.
interaction and communication with their child.
Right. Yeah. It's really I actually gave a workshop about this a few weeks
Really?
ago because
Oh, so
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. And I noticed it because a lot of parents, like in the last 2 years, whenever I would teach a group and I'd have like kind of an open forum Q&A,
Okay.
that technology is like the number one question that I get. You know, how do I limit screen time with
Moderately,
my children? Yeah, you know, like what do I do? I feel like my child's 5 and he's already addicted to his iPad and just a lot of crazy stuff. So it's definitely like a prevalent topic and a real concern, I think, right now for a lot of parents. One of the things that's difficult with it is that, and this is the hard part for the parent, is that they have to be the ones that kind of monitor themselves with technology. So the parent is on the phone a lot. The parent is on social media constantly, and they are modeling that to their child.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they expect for the child to behave differently or not copy those behaviors. So it really starts with the parent, first of all, keeping themselves in check. How much are they looking? And I've noticed, like, literally, I'll be playing with my children and we'll be sitting around. And the moment I go to grab my phone, I can guarantee 2 to 3 minutes after that, one of them is going to say, "Can I have the iPad?" It's like almost they just follow my
They just
lead.
wanna
I grab
mirror
my
you,
phone. Right. So, and I notice when I put my phone away, they don't ask for those things. They're content just playing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a
Interesting.
catch-22.
Yeah.
Yeah, parents want their children to stop, but they themselves are just as addicted.
Yeah, and it's interesting
Dang.
because we are the first generation that moms have this issue.
Yeah.
The issue of technology.
Outside of television, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
And books.
Yeah, but now it's television.
it's
It's your
there's so-
phone.
everything.
It's your
yeah.
iPad.
There's
so many-
Yeah.
It's there are so many other factors.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
and it's in
we're sort of looking at this like we're already assuming that it's a bad thing to have this. Is it for sure?
No,
detrimental?
it's not. No, I think well,
It's a good
the
balance.
only the only thing is just like with ourselves, like we should have a balance with, because the thing that and in the talk I gave, we went through this a little bit, but for instance, it has changed a lot of dynamics. Like, it's easy if I'm not in front of you, like let's say I have to tell you something. Let's say I'm texting you and there's confrontation. Well, I'm not most communication, over 90% of it is nonverbal. So if I'm confronting you about something, but I can't look at you in the face,
Yes.
I don't have empathy for what I'm
Oh my
saying,
gosh, yes.
and I'm not
Yeah.
reading your reaction. So what's happening now is that children are not learning how to use empathy because they're not communicating
That's scary.
face to face with
yeah,
people.
I can just say "screw you, mom," and then not see that hurt you. I just
right.
click
Or
the
when you're
phone
talking
button.
Serial
Exactly.
killers would have an
when you're
easier
talking
time
to your
blending in.
friends. Right. So there are things that are like, and we know also too, there's a new science called neuroplasticity. And it's this idea that the brain is moldable and can be rewired. So one of the things that's happening is that with the so much use of technology, we are changing the way that our brain works.
Yeah.
And we're not sure if it's for the better or not. It might be too much. So
I don't know
think
if it'd be too much. It's too fast.
it's too fast. But I mean, did you ever see, like, I don't know if it was the Time article or something. It was talking about, they showed like the evolution of man and how eventually, like, they predicted what man would look like in 5,000 years.
Brains.
We're gonna be those things from
Brains in tubes.
Wall-E.
No, but I mean, like, well, like our eyes started, like our brain was bigger, right? And then our
Yeah.
eyes started to shift. Our pupils got larger because we're staring so much at blue screens that it's gonna start to eventually over time affect your pupils and the shape of your eyes. And
Are we less hairy?
I have no idea. Maybe. Well.
I don't know, because
Yeah.
I'm pretty hairy. I just want to know.
I was wondering
No.
if that was like a personal thing.
Ladies, now you know.
I think you might be because of global warming. You don't need, we don't need as much
right.
hair because
You'll be
really
dead.
hair came about the
No.
ice ages and stuff like that. So we don't need that much hair because the planet's going to be hotter. So you don't need that type of protection.
We'll have
but
AC
anyways,
everywhere, yeah.
I don't know.
Controlled
We'll
environment.
see.
Can I
Yeah.
just say, Rose, no offense to any other guests we've had, but I think you are probably the most overqualified guest we have ever had on the show.
That's so awesome. Can you put that in writing so I can
Yes,
read
we
it
will.
and
Put it in our show
myself?
notes.
I don't think
In
any
all
other
caps.
guests
You
listen,
can-
so we can stomp on them if you want.
You can put this on your resume too.
We'll
but,
frame it for you.
Oh, I'm so excited about that, about putting this on my bio. You have no idea. I already added it.
Before it even happened, she added it. I just want to let you guys know that Jason just said a mom joke to me.
Give it
Wow,
to
that was
us,
impressive. We didn't
Jason.
hear it.
I say mom jokes a lot
He
to Ashley,
says,
though.
and I tell my mom every single joke you say.
No, you
Go,
don't.
go.
Yes, I do.
Every joke.
When we have
Go,
our lunch
Ashley.
dates and our dinner dates, and I'm sitting at Longhorns with my mother, I tell her, Jason said this, and he said this, and it cracks her up. He just looked at me after Rose said the global warming comment, how the earth is going to get
About
hotter
hair?
so you wouldn't need hair. He says, your mother's going to get hotter. He does not stop with the mom
Whoa,
jokes. I can't.
Does that
Yeah.
mean you're gonna?
When I was growing up, especially in high school,
You
your
liked
mom
moms?
jokes were like I don't know, they were just
Like
Fire.
yo-yos.
they were just everywhere, and they
it's
cracked
still,
me
it's
up.
still a thing.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
It'll never
It's
not
the
be a thing.
easiest joke you can go.
Yeah,
But
it's the
I
lowest
just-
common denominator of joke.
I said it to Ashley one day, and she cracked up, and so that was like, I'm like, oh, okay, there's my in. She thinks it's funny.
if you have nothing
So
else
na-
to say,
Let me
to
insult her
Homeschooled.
mother.
Homeschooled kids.
your mom.
Hey, this is in high school. I went to real high school.
The
know,
joke
joking.
tiers are it's your mom jokes, then knock knock jokes, then guy walks into a bar joke. Like
No,
that's-
knock knock jokes are definitely
No, no,
below
no.
your mom jokes.
No, I think maybe the same level. I hate knock knock jokes. I don't like doors. Okay,
All right, well, this isn't a joke podcast, so
Anyways.
moms are
that
not
was
jokes.
funny.
They're taken seriously everywhere.
Well, there was something.
Knock knock. Who is it? Your mom. Oh,
When
it's
you,
like
at first, when you said
I thought we were done. What happened?
when you said that Jason told you a mom joke, I thought you meant like
your mom was so
a joke
fat.
a joke that a mom would say.
Like
Oh.
a dad joke?
So like something that would just not be funny at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Ashley, can I go just one more thing before we move on to
Of
your
course.
your original? You mentioned like parents using it as like a babysitting tool. And what I want to say, if there are any moms out there listening, technology can be incredibly beneficial. For children, it's not like it's the devil or anything, but you should engage your children with technology. So like, for instance, if my boys are watching cartoons, I sit down with them and I talk to them about what they're watching. And if they're on the iPad,
Make it a
I'm
social
not using
thing.
it. Right. I'm not using it. Like, I don't give them the iPad and walk away. They use the iPad with me. So I'm sitting right next to them, and it's creating learning opportunities and teaching opportunities. So it's not a bad thing. Just just be present with your children as they use it.
And
Yeah.
it's
That's
it's
it.
good to be tech savvy, especially since like the world in the future is going to be so tech full.
Yeah, it already is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I wanted to know if if everyone here had, especially you, Rose, a piece of advice or knowledge that you would care to share with all of the mothers out there and all of the individuals who are listening to this podcast that are not mothers but that are planning on or not planning on having children in the future,
So everybody,
basically. Well, in regards to women, just women.
here's some.
So,
advice
any
from
advice or
four
knowledge
women
that you care
by
to share
guys.
with mothers, like current mothers out there, and women who are either planning or not planning on having children?
Okay, so do you want me to go
the
first,
fence.
or?
Yeah, and does it matter?
No, it
Does
doesn't
I think
matter.
we should end with Rose since
there we
obviously
go.
she's going to
Alrighty.
have the best.
We'll do a little half circle
Yeah, we
then.
end with an
Answer.
exclamation.
Ralph,
mark.
do you have any advice or knowledge you want to share with mothers that are out there? And
Don't let them fall into gorilla pins.
oh my god!
I don't know why John Cena made it here.
I think that's a
He's
good
on
rule.
That's a good
rule
piece of
thumb.
advice, though.
That's a
true.
good general rule. Yeah.
Watch your
general rule.
children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ralph. I mean,
Ralph.
Joey.
I mean Ralph.
I mean,
Ralph.
Joey.
Happens all the time.
Hey, let's see, moms. What you gotta do is, I'm just kidding. Who am I? I'm not a mom. I'm not planning on being a mom.
Hey.
So
You have stuff to say.
I had stuff to say, but I
You
always
do-
forget it.
You have stuff to say, Joey.
Okay, don't be
Don't
so
make me
controlling.
say
okay?
the stuff that
Oh,
you have
don't
to
be
there
so
it
say.
is.
controlling,
Don't be so
alright?
controlling.
There
All
it
right.
is.
Let your birdie fly when
There
it's
it
time to
is.
fly. Yeah.
He's gonna fall.
Let it
Things are
loose.
getting too
Let
real.
it loose. Joey.
Let it all out,
Mama,
Joey.
let me go, Mama.
Does your
Stop
mom listen
asking
to
me
the
where I am
podcast?
24/7.
Has your mom listened to the
I'm
podcast?
in the bathroom. Yeah, no, she doesn't. But I'm
Okay,
afraid
let it
that
all
one
out
day
then,
she
man.
will, and then I'm gonna burn so bad. So I'll just stop right there. Just let us fly. Cut the umbilical cord.
All right.
Don't
that's
be
good
afraid to
advice,
let your
though.
kid be a
is.
man or a woman. You know. Yeah. I'm gonna stop now.
All right. I would say, and I have a feeling that Rose might have an answer that includes this. That identity is so important, like, and when raising your kid, and I don't know if enough parents pursue that, like pursue teaching their kids and helping their kids find out like who they are, what their identity is. So yeah, that would be my little.
Before
piece.
going on, I just want to say I love my mom, and she's a great, she's a great person. Okay, like
He's recanting his statement.
no, I'm not recanting. I'm just saying like I don't want to project this negative image to you guys out there that my mom's evil. She's a good person.
No one thought she was evil.
Okay, but just in case
He
it came
thinks
across
she's
that
evil,
way.
That's why he had to say that.
Are you saying that for
I sold
yourself?
my
That was a
soul to my
Freudian
mother.
slip.
No, I'm just saying that because I don't. She's a good person.
What I would like to say to the mothers out there and those that aren't even sure about bearing children or not is you as a woman is enough. And I know that sounds super like cliche, but it is. And the effect that you have on the world around you is increasingly important. And regardless of the fact if you're going to have children or if you have children, just be conscious of the effect that you have on everyone around you, even those individuals that aren't even your own children. I know a lot of teachers, and I know that a lot of teachers that are in the school system feel like they're a second mom to a lot of the kids. I used to substitute, and I would have children say like, "Oh my gosh, you're better than my own mom. I wish you were my mom. Can I go home with you?" And that always killed me. So just know that you as an individual can make a huge impact on especially children in this day and age, and just be conscious of that, and you are doing enough as a person.
This might be a bit of a cop-out, but I agree with pretty much everything Ashley said. We are married, so I was going to say something extremely similar. And besides that, I'm not a woman, nor do I plan on having kids. So
Or being
I
a
feel
woman later
I
on.
feel very unqualified to answer a question like that.
But you can look at your own,
I
the
said
way
that.
your mother raised
I
you.
said that.
Yes, but
And
my
say-
mom was a great mom, and I
Exactly.
really don't have anything negative to say.
It doesn't
Well, say
have to be
something
negative.
good,
Say,
like-
my mom did this, it worked.
You can
I
learn
said
from
I
good
think they
advice or
should do
knowledge.
this. Yeah.
You can learn from good
Okay,
things.
sure. But a lot of it had to do with what she was saying, and kind of what Joey said. My mom was protective, but she let me do things
Kill
if I
things.
wanted to do
Good
them.
balance.
Yeah,
you
very
find
good,
out who you were.
very good balance of protection and okay, go ahead and do this. You might get hurt, but you're a kid. That's gonna happen, you know. And like I said before, she was very, very loyal. Very like if we had a soccer game, mom and dad took me to the soccer game. Like there was no like, oh, let's skip this week, or we've made other plans and they're more important than you doing that. Like everything was about. Now, granted, I was the firstborn though. I don't know if that changes later on. I assume it does because there's a lot of psychological stuff
Differences.
hooked up with middle child and firstborn and
And
lastborn
last,
and
yeah.
stuff. But at least for me, that's how it went. My mom was very attentive, but also let me be when I needed to.
Give us an
be.
example
He just did
When
the
she-
soccer game.
Oh, sorry. I guess I
No,
blanked out for that.
That's not the best example.
Give us a better example.
Like when I wanted to
Better,
start
like a scooter.
skateboarding, right?
There you go.
I wanted
knew
to start
something.
skateboarding. That's pretty dangerous, depending
Break
on
something.
especially skate parks. Like I barely knew how to skate, and she took me to a skate park. That's dangerous.
And there's drugs there. Excuse me?
And punk rock music
And dirty syringes.
and
sex.
anarchy.
And sex.
And sex.
At
but
the skateboard.
she let me go. She's like, "You're gonna wear pads." I'm like, "Mom, I'm gonna look like a loser." And she's like, "I brought you here. You can skate,
Oh, cool.
but you're gonna wear
That's
pads
cool.
and a helmet and stuff."
It's
And I'm
like a compromise, but she still wins.
yeah.
It's like, I'm your mama. You can
Ooh,
have fun.
can I say one more thing before we go to Rose?
Yeah.
A lot of things I think that moms miss. I work in education and I just see this. I see so many, not moms in particular, parents, is the freedom of choice. Like, please give your kids the freedom of choice. Like, people assume just because kids are kids that they can't make a decision, and I think that's a huge mistake. Like, you need to give your kids options, even if it's I want you, like, I want this kid to do whatever. I want you to brush your teeth. Okay, but you don't want to brush your teeth. I'm gonna give you options. Okay, you can do this or brush your teeth, but you're both of these things I want you to do, but you get to choose whatever you want to do first. And even that alone is giving the kid some kind of power and giving them
Some
choice.
leeway.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a huge thing, I think. Anyway,
Limit their options, but give them a choice.
yes.
Yeah.
Rose.
That's so good. You, Kyle, you touched on probably one of my life missions or goals in life about this issue of power, but that's another day, another time. First of all, I'll tell the moms what I usually tell my groups when I first start, which is that parenting is the most rewarding yet difficult job in the world. But it's the most amazing thing you can do. What else is greater than being given the responsibility to raise a human being?
A person,
like, that is just incredible, right? Like, I think about the fact that when I'm done with school, it'll be 10 years of schooling I've devoted my life to, right? To get a PhD or whatever it is. And that's just to get a PhD, to say that I am some type of expert or authority in some type of field. And my greatest mission, the thing that's really going to be the most impactful to my entire life, is raising children. Like, I'm raising future adults, right? So I just want to say that it is a tough job, but it should be, because you're raising an adult, or you're raising adults, and those things shouldn't be easy to do. And I mean, parenting's difficult because it comes from the inside out, and you can't give to your children what you don't give to yourself. So for those moms out there, I say honor and nurture who you are, because you really matter. And the more you operate out of a healthy identity, your own self-love, your own sense of dignity and acceptance, then the easier it is to impart that to your children, because you cannot give your children what you don't have for yourself. Mm-hmm. So it really starts with you. It really starts with nurturing and taking care of who you are. And also, I think I have to reiterate what Kyle said. It's not about controlling our children. It's about giving them, teaching them, and giving them options, right? It's about teaching them how to be autonomous, self-respecting individuals, and teaching them how to steward and manage themselves. So if at any point you find yourself struggling because you want to control your child, I just say teach them how to manage and learn to be responsible without that sense of control, because that really does matter.
Yeah.
Bam.
And that's it.
That's great.
Can I say one more thing?
Please
course.
do.
Really quickly?
I have
Yeah.
another
Okay.
fun question after you're done.
I have
so.
a fun fact about moms.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say to you guys, think about how you can support and encourage and honor the mothers in your life. and I don't mean even like your own mom. And I'm talking to you, like you four in that room right there, you guys, like that I'm staring at. Not to the general audience, but to
No, to the general audience too.
The general
Challenge the
general
audience.
yeah.
Be nice to
But I mean,
mamas out there.
like think about, because
The struggle.
parenting is tough and we need the village, right? So if you don't have any children, just think about how you can be a support to the women that you do know that do have children
Just help
in
the
their
overall
lives.
human race.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amen.
All right. So, what were we gonna say? Go ahead. You go first.
Moms, mammals, mammalia, mammary, mammograms. When you're calling your mom, you're basically calling her a boob. Mom.
That's a fact.
Hey, mom.
What?
Hey, mom. Hey, boob.
Why
Boob,
did
boob.
you interrupt the entire podcast
I didn't interrupt. It was my
to
turn.
say that?
It was my turn to say that. And I thought it was an interesting.
Ralph's just dying. That's it.
All the
Nothing to
credibility that Rose just built for us,
Came crashing
you
down
just
with
you
boobs.
just demolished.
No, it's a fun.
all of
It's
it.
a fun scientifical fact.
Scientifical.
I think we found the boop in the group already.
Oh.
I'm not a
Oh
mom.
my goodness.
All right, Rose.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I want to include you in a short little thing about our sponsor, and then I want to
Okay.
close with a more lighthearted question. So,
Okay.
let me ask you a question. Do you guys, meaning you and your husband Laz, do you use any fun sexual stuff like lube or something like that?
Or is it not
No.
fun?
No.
It's tedious.
In the beginning of our marriage, we used to use lube. I don't know why, but I maybe since having kids or something, we don't need any.
Just a slip and slide.
It's because
Did you say it's a slip and slide?
No, shut.
just that your
That's what I
mom is
said.
enough to get him.
She said, "Shut up, Ashley."
Okay, listen to me. This is really important. I need you to make sure that you are well versed in female anatomy, because it is not a slip and slide.
Ashley
It is a
just
muscle.
said-
Ashley said it. She's
Yeah.
The only
woman.
female here said
Read
that.
a
We
book about it. It's
assume-
really
Hey,
important.
hey,
Okay,
that's a
it.
funny joke.
Oh no.
That's a funny joke.
So, one of our sponsors is called marriagesupply.com. And basically what they do is they provide sex toy-ish stuff, not anything crazy, and lubes and just fun
Condoms.
things.
Nothing threatening.
For married couples specifically. Like if let's say Laz wanted to get something for you, right? But you don't want him going to a site that has a bunch of like other naked
Inappropriate
women
photos
on it
and
to
stuff on there.
look at as well, right?
Okay.
This site does not have that.
Basically, all the products that you may or may not use or be interested in using are just there on the site without having like those explicit photos just
Advertisement.
bam like right in your face. So like
Okay.
if you want to buy in an assortment or a bunch of different products, it's just right there. Boom, you just know that your spouse or you, like, you're safe just buying that stuff if
that
you guys
site.
wanted to use that. And they just have like a ton of options, and there are things that I am interested in, there are like a lot of things that I'm not interested in, and that's okay. But I just love knowing that with Marriage Supply we're safe. And I guess Jason just want to let you guys know for future reference. Is that what you wanted to do?
Well, I was wondering if they used anything like that, but I guess they don't. So,
They could
But
be in
they
for the
might
future.
now.
Yeah.
also,
Because of the website.
We bought all that stuff like in the beginning of our marriage.
yeah,
Like from the bachelorette parties and
yeah.
bachelor parties.
So that stuff has dust on it? Is that what you're saying?
No, actually, well, I think like our first, like after our honeymoon, we went to like a store because we stayed in the Grove and they had a shop, and we were like, oh, let's go check it out. And then that's where we bought a lot of stuff.
Also, to the listeners, marriagesupply.com is where you can get the date night box, which we have
Subscribe.
mentioned in other episodes.
Oh, that's cool.
So the date
That's
night
cool.
box is it's a monthly subscription, and they send you one box per month, and in the box is a couple of questions to have post-coital. And
Foreplay. That's foreplay.
and then
That's post.
a couple items or
never
maybe
mind.
just one item of basically a surprise every month. It's kind of like Loot Crate and things like
What's
that, but for
post?
sex. So
That's kind of cool. A date date night box.
Yeah,
right?
it's really
I love
cool.
that. That's cool. Yeah, I want to do that.
So
That's
the
cool.
fun question that I wanted to end on was, you've had 3 children, correct?
Yes.
And have they all been natural or all different?
Yes, vaginal. Yes.
Okay.
Vaginal.
Yes.
How is sex different for you now after children?
Okay. So Laz can attest to this. But I don't know if it's one of those rare women, but my libido doesn't really get affected whether I'm pregnant before or after.
You are probably rare then. Yeah.
Yes, I have a
There's
very,
books written about this.
Yes. So it's in many ways, like sometimes I think it's stronger than Laz's, but nothing really holds
Same
it
here.
down.
Same here.
Guys peak around their 20s.
So nothing, to be honest with you, it hasn't
sexual.
really. Oh, okay. Wait, no, I do have something. This is good, I think, and encouraging, I think, to women. Before, with my first, I felt like, I don't know, something happened, but after I had my first child, I don't know if it was my age, but I kind of felt like I went through like a sexual revolution or something. And,
Revolution.
yes. And that never died down. So that's all I gotta say.
You've been
I
riding
think-
that cloud.
I don't know because I'm not a woman and I've never had a baby, but I've heard about women that is like the opposite. Like after they a lot of times
women.
after they have a baby, they no longer feel sexy and they go through like, what is it, postpartum depression.
Yeah.
That's
Well-
why I love Rose. Rose is always
I'll
so
tell you-
confident.
Well, here's the thing, though, that there is, and I think this is where, can I mention God? Is that like?
Please do.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Okay, I don't know, like, I don't know about your audience, but
That's
We don't know about our audience
such
either.
a
okay. I speak in different platforms, so I don't know, but what I think is what happens is, like, for instance, I breastfeed, and so one of the things that happens when you breastfeed naturally is that women become less fertile as they're breastfeeding, and
Really?
and it's nature's way or God's way of
pause.
making sure.
Oh no,
you
like,
hear,
to pause, like so.
Oh yeah, so you don't get pregnant, so you can continue to nurse your baby.
That is
So-
super interesting.
So what
I had no
happens
idea.
is, so women, after they have a baby, not only are there like hormonal imbalances, but also they are literally like infertile because of their body protecting themselves from getting pregnant. Of course you can, but that's one of the things that science says is the reason why women lose their libido. I just don't. I don't know why, but I just
You're
don't.
meant to populate the earth.
I am. I think I'm very good at it.
Rose, thank you so much for enlightening us on motherhood. We really appreciate it. I hear a baby screaming in the background, so I'm assuming you're
Oh my
probably
God,
have to
you hear
go
a thing.
soon.
Yes.
Yeah, I see LJ on FaceTime. He has his underwear on his head, so you better go check it out.
What?
Your baby is falling into a gorilla pin.
No!
What? Oh my gosh. They're all
Oh,
awake.
poor gorilla. Get it? Because they're gonna shoot the gorilla.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Rose.
Bye,
No
Rose.
problem.
Have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. That was episode 8. Next episode is on fathers, because Father's Day is coming up.
Can I just say it was a crazy 8?
Where my daddy's at? Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Wow, guys. So then after 8, it's 9, and after 9 is 10.
And 10 is double digits.
What? We need to have a celebration.
The big 10.
If anyone enjoyed this episode, please let us know. Let us know if we left something out, and let us know if there's something you would like for us to discuss on the fatherhood episode. Again, you can look at the show notes. There's our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Just talk to us, guys. We
Yeah,
love
talk to
hearing
us.
from
Millennials
you.
Podcast
We wanna
at
know what's going on.
gmail.com.
I bet you all can't wait to figure out how the word dad came about.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Ayo, I don't even know, so. But I can assume it has to start with a D.
Assume it?
Oh, the D.
Oh, get
Because he
it?
gave the mom the D.
Get it? Yeah, get it?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh gosh, guys, I'm sorry.
Okay, let's please.
I don't know how to end this.
We ended like that.
Yeah, that was all really insightful and all, but it took everything in me to not laugh when she accidentally said fart.
Yeah.
Please don't edit that out.
I actually did laugh at it. I did.
What's my destiny, Mom?
You're gonna have to figure that out for yourself.